Yo. It's CTB, Chin Tuck Boxing. I'm your boy Jay Slay. Say what up to him, man.
What's up, everybody? Remember to like and subscribe, hit the notification button, comment. Let's keep this channel growing. We love boxing, you love boxing.
Most definitely. This is what we serve those delicious entrees of boxing knowledge to the boxing fans. What's on the menu tonight, bro?
Let's talk about why is the AJ and Fury fight not happening now?
That's a good question. Why isn't the AJ and Fury fight not happening?
Mm-hmm.
It could be many reasons and there's many excuses. Which ones you want? You want the excuses or you want the real reasons?
Well, we can talk about both.
Let's talk about both. All right, let's start with the excuses. I want not the excuses out because they're the funnier ones. All right. One of the excuses I ran across on Facebook I don't know remember the page I was on, but they said AJ was ducking Fury. They said AJ was faking negotiations with Fury just cause basically he's saying AJ is scared of Fury and Fury is the real heavyweight king. What do you want to say to that fan with that breakdown of what he thinks going on?
Why would AJ be scared of Fury? And I mean, at this stage, he has three of the belts. He want to be undisputed. I mean, he done fought pretty much everybody else he could fight. So at this stage, if he don't fight Fury,
He fought everybody he could fight.
yeah, who is AJ gonna fight? I mean, other than Wilder, we know
Oh,
don't want to
okay.
fight Wilder.
Okay.
But I
Okay.
mean,
Okay.
that's what I do like though, because it's just pretty much three heavyweights now. Like, who are you gonna fight at this stage? So if AJ don't want to fight Fury, then who we gonna fight next? What's an interesting fight for AJ at this stage? I mean, for real. So I mean, it don't even make sense to me for AJ to say he's scared or don't want to fight. I mean, you can't say, oh, maybe he's scared to take a loss. And Andy Reid beat his ass. So he already got a loss. So it ain't gonna put a blemish on his record. So what is AJ running from? It's gonna be a big payday. No, I think he'll get a bigger payday with Wilder, but it'll be a big payday. So what would AJ be running from? What is your take on it?
I said the same thing to that fan. To that fan, I said, why would AJ be afraid of a Fury fight? It makes no sense for him to want to run from that fight. To be honest, I would be hopping all over that fight if I was him. If I was him, I would much rather fight Fury than fight Wilder. If I was AJ, I'm trying to hop on this fight as quick as possible before the mediation shit is over, before Wilder's name come up in the books again. It's better to hop on it. If I'm Anthony Joshua, it's better for me to get this fight now while everybody's clowning Wilder and there's no pressure on him to fight Wilder. Because once mediation come out and the ruling come out and Fury deny that fight and Fury possibly get stripped of his belt for denying the fight, why he fighting Fury? There's no point in fighting Fury either at that point. I would have to fight Wilder for that belt.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't see why Joshua will be stalling out this fight. I'll be trying to hop on it right away. So that makes no sense. Excuse number two that I heard. They saying that AJ is trying to fight his mandatory in Usyk first. They saying that AJ wasn't comfortable with his last performance against what was the guy's name? Pulev. They're saying he wasn't comfortable with his performance against Pulev and he needs a little bit more ring time. If you haven't noticed, it's kind of a trend going on. It seems like all the excuses are going Fury's way. They're trying to put the fault on AJ, saying AJ is the cause of the fight not happening. So what would you say to let's just break it all down? What would you say to those fans who's basically saying that AJ is the reason why this fight's not happening? And what is your opinion on why the fight's not happening?
I mean, if you think about it, some of the same problems that AJ having and Hearns is having, it's the same problem that Wilder's having. When trying to make the second fight with Fury, and then when they try to make the third fight. So it's a common denominator. It's Fury. Fury is always the one that's coming up with these excuses or the reason why the other guy, the other opponent can't fight. It's never on him. So from a fan perspective, or for anybody that believes that, just ask yourself the question: Is never Fury? Is never Fury fault? Is no reasoning to the negotiations stalling out because of Fury team? It's always wider. It's always but Fury, you trust everything that's coming out of his mouth. I mean, sometimes you gotta use common sense. I mean, what how do you feel about it?
I agree. Sometimes people gotta use common sense. That's why I was gonna go with it. It seems like there's a lot of not only controversy, but a lot of failed negotiating, failed negotiations or fight ducking going on when it comes to Tyson Fury. Everything from the Klitschko fight had errors in negotiating. The second Wilder fight was issues in negotiating, and now the AJ's fight seems to be problems in negotiating. On what I see, the fight's not happening. It's coronavirus. It's literally that. It's the same thing that Wilder said last summer. Or Wilder's team said last summer. It's the same that Bob Arum said last summer, earlier this summer. He basically said it's not enough money in the fight. It's not enough money in the fight if you can't have fans at the fight. Or you can only have a cap. You have a cap on the amount of people that you can have there. What a lot of the casual fans don't understand is while yes, the bulk of the money does come from pay-per-view, a bulk of the money does come from that, but also a large portion of that money comes from the gates, the ticket sales, the merchandise sales, the concession sales. All of that adds into not only the fighter fees, but the undercard fighter fees, the promoters fight fees. The broadcasters got to make their money, so it takes a lot of money to put on a fight of this level, of this magnitude. So it's kind of hard to get all of that money. It's kind of hard to find that money without having a large gate. That's what it boils down to. So for all it kind of go back to the Fury Wilder fight. When Fury came out and said it was taking too long and my contract ended. The whole reason why they're in mediation now is because Wilder's plea is there was nowhere we can fight. There's no venue. So pointing the finger at any fighter really it makes no sense. That's my opinion. Pointing at any fighter and saying y'all you the reason why this fight not happening. It really makes no sense. Even at Fury, it makes no sense. Plus, the way I see it anyway, I don't think Fury really wanted to have an AJ fight back like this early anyway. I think he said on ESPN yesterday that he wanted in June. He wanted to have a fight in April if it's anybody, like any random, but he needs an extra month for AJ. So I don't. I see your smile. See how you that makes no sense, right?
Yeah.
But that's the man you dealing with. It's like it's always loopholes and catch 22s with the man. You understand what I'm saying? How you feel about that? Better question. How do you feel about Tyson Fury? We don't know the man personally, so but how do you feel about the character that you've seen from the man just in the public eye? How you think he's a trustworthy person to believe the things he be saying out of his mouth, pretty much?
No, I mean, just look at the history. We talk about it. I mean, from the guy, the drug habits to getting caught cheating, to the suspicion of cheating, to how, like you said, Wilder took this guy from to his lowest point, gave him the biggest fight of his career, the biggest payday of his career, and then the second fight, he showed his ass when it came to negotiation. So, what kind of integrity does this guy have? So, I mean, using common sense when you dealing with a guy like that, I mean, just take Fury's name out of anybody. Just using common sense. Can you believe anything this guy says, can you trust this guy? And I mean, and I also want to go back to what you said about the pandemic. Even if the fight could get made in the pandemic, and they could make good money, a smart businessman or woman would not have a fight of that magnitude in a pandemic, like you said, in a stadium where you only can fit, 40% capacity. Mm-hmm. So why would you cut yourself out of 30, 40, $50 million when you can wait 6 months to a year and make the full amount of money that the fight is capable of making. So it's not even a smart business move. So sometimes people got to get out of their groupie fan feelings and just use your goddamn common sense in some things. You know what I'm saying? So I just don't understand people, man. Sometimes people just like a fighter so much or root for a fighter that they even if the lie or the truth is right in their face, they find a way to annoy it or come up with an excuse or believe anything that come out their mouth.
Facts.
But I mean, that's how I take it, man. That's how I feel about it.
I agree with you wholeheartedly. It's exactly how I feel about it. Sometimes people blind to like nobody want to be disappointed by their favorite fighter or their hero, quote unquote. Nobody want to see them
True.
fail.
Mm-hmm.
So, with that being said, I think it's nonsense. I prefer to see the Wilder Fury fight over the AJ Fury fight. I prefer to see the Wilder AJ fight over any fight because I've been waiting for that one for years. But when it all, go ahead.
Well, a question though. I will ask you this question.
What's that?
We both agree that right now for those fights, because of the pandemic, it may not be the smartest move to have those fights right now. So Fury, AJ, even Wilder, who are some of the fighters like to see them fight next, and then maybe 4 or 5 months later they can maybe see where we at as far as the pandemic, as far as what we can do, as far as capacity and you know as far as fans and the gate. Who would you like to see them fight now? Because they kind of got to stay busy, especially Fury, because Fury has that Adrian Broner, I guess, kind of thing where if he don't fight, the guy's gonna fall apart. Like you said, you seen him in an interview, he's fat as hell. Like so if he sits around for 5 or 6 more months, it's over. It's over. So who would you like to see them? I guess a stay busy or a type of fight you would like to see them in.
For Fury, I don't think it's what I want to see him in. I think it's more so what he needs to be in because he has a rematch clause with Wilder. So that fight is supposed to happen next regardless. It was supposed to have been next on the books. So I'd rather see that fight go through. I don't think Wilder need no middleman fight, and I don't think Fury should get a middleman fight. To be thoroughly honest, I think it should be from what the contract states. It should go ahead and just run it back right now. And if Wilder win that fight, then they won with a draw. Run it back again. Marquez and Pacquiao fought 4 times. Why these heavyweights can't fight 4 times? You understand what I'm saying? It's money in it regardless. So run it back right away. But AJ has a what I say the harder issue. Cause AJ has to fight a fighter that can mimic both styles. He has to fight somebody big, of course, because both Wilder and Fury are big, are tall and long. So he has to fight somebody tall and long, and he has to fight somebody who can actually give him a run, make it like last, give him some rounds in. So a fighter like that is really hard to find. I mean,
Joe Joyce?
Maybe Joe Joyce. That's a good fight. I think that's a good fight, domestic fight, easy to make.
Yeah, it's risky.
It's risky. Joe Joyce got power. I think it's a risky fight, but it gets him prepared for a Wilder Fury. Because I think if he go in there and fight just a Joe Smo, even if he go in there and fight Usyk, who I think is too small for heavyweight anyway, even if he go in there and fight a Usyk, I think it won't help him out at all in his next the bigger fights. And you kind of consider the same thing with any of them. Say again.
I mean, Usyk and Wilding, though, I would like to see that though. But
it would be a good fight. I think that would be a good fight. I'd like to see him fight either one of them fight Ortiz too. Either shit out. You know what fight I really want to see? I was thinking about it the other day. I would love to see a Joe Joyce versus Ortiz. I think that'd be a good step up for Joe Joyce, and it'd be a risky fight for Ortiz. But the only catch is, has Ortiz proved himself enough? Is it time for Ortiz to finally get a big payday fight other than Wilder's fights? So I would like to see maybe a Dillian White in there too with Ortiz.
I still want Wilder to get his hands on Dillian White.
I do want that fight.
Want to see that.
It's still a lot of fights I would like to see happen, man. Like I say, this whole pandemic, it froze up a lot of divisions. especially the heavyweight division, because it's not that many of them like it is the 135 and the 147. It's technically only maybe like 5 cycle of heavyweights that can be cycled and actually be entertaining. I feel you got the Ortizes, you got the Dillian Whites, you got the Wilder, Fury, Joshua. That's pretty much the 5. That's the like the Mount Trashmore of Mount Rushmore of heavyweights. But yeah, that's that's how I feel about it, man. I don't know. I really don't want. I really don't want to see no more. Like I'm really tired of the practice fights. If that's per se. I mean, I'm kind of tired. Every time it's not like every time Fury goes to a big fight, he need 2 practice fights. Oh, I fought Wilder, but I need 2 practice fights. Oh, I got to fight Wilder again. I need 2 practice fights. Oh, I'm about to fight Joshua. I need a practice fight. It seems like to me that gets old. I mean, go in there, just go in there and risk it, man. Go ahead and fight. But yeah, you got anything to add, man? Anything to add?
I think we pretty much wrapped it up, and we gave a nice little overview of the heavyweight division.
Most definitely, most definitely. Well, yeah, that's our show for the day. This is CTB, Chin Tuck Boxing. I'm your boy Jay Slay. Cut him out of here, man.
All right, everybody, man. Remember to like and subscribe, man. Hit the notification button. Let's keep this channel growing. We're gonna give you plenty of content, man. We love boxing. You love boxing. Peace and love. We out.